Hello everybody, my name is Lee Geiger and it's time for another edition of The Marginal Profit. Before I begin, let me thank all of you who were kind enough to write in and inform me that while my first two attempts at making a video blog were okay, they could be better if I didn't read from a prepared script. Also, while the background of the wallpaper in my kitchen might be interesting to some, it wasn't anywhere near as interesting as what's inside my man cave. So here we are right now, surrounded by my books, my baseball caps, and my golf paraphernalia. And from now on, I'm going to bring to you the marginal profit from here in my office. So I hope you're okay with that. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a story that I've entitled How's Ross's Foot, which is a story about my recent visit to Boston to spend some time with my oldest son, Ross, who many of you know had 6 surgeries on his left ankle over the past 4 years. And the single most conversational question I get is always, how's Ross's foot? So here's an update. It's Saturday night. Dad and Ross are sitting in his apartment, and he's had another long week, putting in another 80 hours, and I'm not feeling very sorry for him because this is what he signed up for. Nonetheless, I do have plastic with me, and I'm going to take him and his friends out to dinner. So about 6:30, we go down the 5 stories of his 5th floor walk-up and start heading for the subway station, or as it's affectionately known in Boston, the T. And while we're there, I'm the token 54-year-old, and I'm listening to all these 22 and 23-year-olds anxiously talk about their weeks and how they're going to do this and do that and go here and go there. And all I can think of is, you guys are going to rule the world, and I hope you do. And if so, I'm going to buy the beer. We get on the subway and we start heading out to beautiful downtown Somerville to a restaurant called Red Bones, which I've been told is the best barbecue in Boston, which is kind of an oxymoronic term when you think about it. We get to the restaurant and we order ribs, brisket, pulled pork, you name it. And I couldn't help but notice that Ross's gal pal had just put down a half a slab of ribs, which was kind of surprising because Ross had told me beforehand that Miss Galpal wasn't a really big fan of red meat, which, again, she shocked the world the night before when I took Ross and get Miss Galpal out to dinner to Smith & Wollensky's, and she ordered a 16-ounce New York strip. And so later on, I told Ross, giving him some fatherly advice, and I said, Ross, women are like lightning strikes. They're just kind of unpredictable, and they're just as electrifying as well. Anyway, after a couple of hours of gorging ourselves on what turned out to be fantastic barbecue, we exited the restaurant and decided that in order to make ourselves feel a little bit better, it might be appropriate to walk from the Somerville station to the next closest station, which was the Harvard Square station. And it was a beautiful night. The rain had cleared up and the wind was nice and cool. So we started walking and we had a really good time. By the time we got to Harvard Square, we noticed a J.P. Lick's ice cream store in the vicinity, and we decided to indulge ourselves. After doing that, well, we had to keep on walking. And so we did, and we walked to the next station. And then we walked to the station after that. So by the time we get to the 3-mile mark, it's been an hour and a half. And a couple of people in our group say they've had enough for the night, and in fact, they've got to get back to work. So I look at my watch and I say, really? It's 10 o'clock on a Saturday night and you've got to get back to work? Anyway, it was their story. We keep on walking. By this point, it's Ross, one of his buddies, Miss Galpal, and myself. And as we approach the Harvard Bridge, which connects downtown Boston over the Charles River, Ross announces, we're committed, gang. We're going to keep going. So we've got about another 2 miles ahead of us. And we go ahead and we cross the river, and Ross's other friend finally takes off. Finally, it's just me, Ross, and Miss Galpal. And with about a mile to go, he informs me that he wants to walk Miss Galpal home. So obviously his mother must have raised him right. So I'm walking by myself, and it's about this point that I realize my feet are really killing me. We've been walking a long way. And as I get to be about a half a mile from Ross's apartment, I suddenly hear footsteps behind me. And I turn around, and it's Ross, and he's running to catch up to me. And he's got a big old smile on his face, and he puts his arm around me, and he says, Dad, that was sure a fun night. And I could tell by the smile on his face that everything was right with the world and that there was absolutely nothing wrong with his foot. Now, all I got to worry about now is his heart. Anyway, that's today's rendition of The Marginal Profit. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back with another edition real soon. Take care.